Hello!
Welcome to the Christmas Movie Club!
Fa la 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 la.
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Special.
Hold on. There's an elf. There's an elf at the door. Hold on.
Really something.
We're recording in here.
Get out!
Go back to work.
Oh my god, they're so rude.
They're lazy this year too. Always trying to take a smoke break and trying to get in the recording studio.
You know what they say? Never trust an elf.
No.
Yeah.
These elves just don't want to work anymore.
Yeah, it's all that
Those stimulus
checks
from the
and
North Pole.
unemployment.
Yeah.
You know.
I caught one of the elves wearing those Ray-Bans with Facebook enabled in it. He's taking pictures of me on his Ray-Bans. He knows the rule.
You should talk to HR about that.
No sunglasses in the workshop. And no hats either. No lids.
What is Rupert doing? What is he doing? Jesus.
He's
You never know what
he smells
Rupert's
the gingerbread
gonna do.
cookies that are being
Right.
He's taking a deep sniff. For those who can't see, my cat's mouth was hanging open for
An
a
extended
while.
period of time.
Yeah, I
He
forgot
looks
to ask.
broken.
Are you coming to the gingerbread drive tomorrow?
Oh yeah, you know what? I feel a little underprepared for that. I was going to make like a replica of the recording studio in gingerbread, and I'm
You didn't do
really
it?
behind. Well, I might pull an all-nighter. Who knows? Hopefully, I'll get it done. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Well,
Candy Cane Christine.
yes.
Insane in the candy cane.
You got that right.
Do we have any mail? 'Cause
We did.
I know
We did.
that Santa's got mail,
Yes, he does.
but the elves don't often.
We actually did get a letter today. I'm
One?
really excited about it. Just one.
Yay.
Okay.
If that's okay.
One can hope.
I know. Maybe more
Any
will come
mail.
in though. I'm excited to get anything. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so here we have a letter. This is from Pete from Newport, Rhode Island.
Wow, long way.
Yes. Pete wants to know, what are our favorite Christmas movies?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Is
I'm
Pete
not-
on the naughty list or the nice list? This
Oh,
year?
he's on the nice list.
Okay.
He's a
Okay.
good boy.
Okay.
I think we only accept mail from the nice list people. I think the naughty list goes
Where
right
did it
into
go?
the...
Right to the incinerator?
Yeah.
Yeah. we don't read their mail.
Yeah, they don't get the privilege. Who wants to go first?
You can go first.
No, I went first last time. I'm not doing it.
That's okay.
Tiny Tim will go.
Yeah,
you
you
go.
go.
My favorite Christmas movie, I have two that come to mind. One has already been deemed not a Christmas movie by someone on the panel here. I'll save that one for last, actually. No, I'll say it first. My favorite Christmas movie that's not a Christmas movie is Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart. Beautiful.
And Anna Faris.
And Anna Faris, yes. Beautiful, hilarious movie. Probably could say every line of it. Anna Faris, knockout role. She still is the best in Scary Movie 2, I think.
I loved that.
Yeah.
And the
Oh my
House
God.
Bunny's
House
pretty good.
Bunny.
Yeah.
Scary movie too.
Just Friends is a good movie.
It's
just not
hilarious.
something that comes to mind
It's a Christmas
when I think
movie.
of Christmas. It's Christmas time, but I don't, I guess, associate it. But I could see why you'd argue it is.
I'll
one.
answer it for real, though. Without a doubt. Hands down. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Oh, I knew that.
Oh.
I notice a new joke in it every single time I watch it. It's one of the funniest movies. It's gotten a little bit tired over time with all, like Christmas Story. At one time, everyone loved it, and then Coles and Marshalls got a hold of it and started making like everything that they could possibly get their hands on.
Like
But-
the lamp, the leg lamp.
Yeah, or like a chocolate bar that's just like named after something. But that's my favorite movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a secret? I've never seen Christmas Vacation.
Wow.
Just clips.
Okay.
Like little parts here and there. I've never
Yeah.
actually sat down and watched it. I will though. I'll make a point to.
It
You
is
definitely-
classic. Like it's a good movie.
It's
I'll say.
hilarious.
Now, it's your favorite Christmas movie. Is it also your favorite National Lampoon's Vacation movie?
I'll
too?
tell you a secret.
You haven't seen it.
I haven't seen any of the other ones.
You don't see
Okay.
Animal House?
That's not a vacation movie, but
I mean, it's
a
still
National
National
Lampoon.
Lampoon.
It's
Yeah.
it's a Lampoon movie.
But not
I have seen
part of
Animal
the,
House.
Okay.
like, there was Las Vegas.
European. And then Vacation.
Right.
And I did see the remake with Ed Helms and Christina Applegate, the Vacation remake. Pretty funny.
Okay.
Pretty good.
All right.
Okay. Do you want to go last?
I'll go next. I don't care.
Go ahead.
My choices are boring. Like, they're
Okay.
kind of expected, but Home Alone, sorry. It's
One?
just... 1 and 2 are kind of neck and neck, but I think 1 a little bit more just because it's a little more nostalgic. I watched it more, and I'll watch it every year. Like, I don't care how tired it gets.
Yeah.
I'll see it once a year, and then I'm good. But I always really enjoy it. I just love the scene where he's setting up all the booby traps and stuff. It's just so fun and creative.
Agreed.
I also like.
I'm a 2
again,
man. I'm a
You're number 2?
Home Alone 2.
2 is great
Yeah,
with the
it's more
turtle
violent.
dove. And it's sweet with the
Yeah.
pigeon.
It's the
lady.
same movie.
Yeah, it is the same movie. My other one is classic Rudolph. And again, very expected. No, what am I talking about? Yeah, you know more than I know my favorite Christmas movie. I'm an idiot. It's actually Charlie Brown, and I just didn't come to mind. But that is because the Vince Guaraldi Charlie Brown Christmas CD record, that is my favorite Christmas album of all time. Growing up, I had to listen to the record every year on Christmas Day, leading up to Christmas Day.
Yeah, it's
Never
great.
gets old.
It's
So
No,
beautiful.
I never do.
they just go hand in hand.
The scene
It's
where
perfect.
is it Linus, where he just walks out into the stage, he's like the real meaning of Christmas.
Yes.
I'm not religious, but
Right.
that scene makes me like tear up because it's just so wholesome.
When he
and,
walks off and he's like, "That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown," and then he walks away. It's like,
beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful.
All right.
It's only like what, 25 minutes or
Yeah, it's
something.
short.
But it's one of the best Christmassy 25 minutes you can spend, I think.
And it's only available on Apple TV.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it's like
Maybe
one of
on
the few
YouTube.
places. We couldn't find it, I remember. We
I
tried
think I
watching
have it on DVD. You guys
Yeah,
wanted to borrow it.
ended
Yeah.
up buying it. That lenticular slipcover. Candy cane, Christine? Good choices.
Well, historically speaking, It's a Wonderful Life is probably my favorite. But I've been thinking about this recently, and I fast forward through a lot of it. So then I'm wondering, is it really my favorite Christmas movie? But I just know what parts I like.
Right.
It's kind of a long movie.
It is.
It kind of slows down in the middle and it's like, I don't give a shit about the bank or any of that stuff.
Oh.
I just liked the premise of the movie and the romance, and I like the beginning scene and the way that Jimmy Stewart talks.
It is one of the few movies where I think no matter how many times I see it, I like break down crying at the end.
Yeah.
It's just
beautiful. Gets you in the feels. I think it's relatable because I think most people wonder, when you're in a low moment, you might be thinking oh, what would the world be like if I wasn't here,
Yeah. Well, it's basically another version of Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then another movie I really liked was actually Santa Claus is Coming to Town. The stop motion.
Oh, yes.
Fred Astaire's the narrator and host of it.
I know
Meister.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one too.
I liked that a lot. I'm not even sure why I liked it so much, but when I was little, I always wanted to watch
I liked
that.
the Heat Miser, Snow Miser songs and stuff.
Those are just cozy.
Yeah.
Well, we would all love to thank Peter.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, Pete. That was a good
Sending that question. That was good. So what movie did we end up watching?
We watched Holiday Road Trip. I think it was from 2014. And this one was definitely a lot better than last week's.
Oh yeah.
Like by a long shot. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
I felt like.
I agree. It was I feel like now that we saw like what a kids movie is like, they're not that great. And I feel like these rom-coms they're much more like entertaining in terms of like, and I feel like the story they tell is a lot more focused. Like Santa Claus, I honestly couldn't tell you what that movie was about, and we had only watched like a couple like days ago.
Yeah.
So this movie like I just got more involved. Yeah.
Yeah. So do we want to start?
Yeah, let's just jump right into it. I mean,
All right.
Okay.
All right, so they're in. You want me to start?
yeah,
Okay.
Start
yeah.
off.
Let's.
Get on into it.
So this movie's Holiday Road Trip.
Yes, Holiday Road Trip.
It's from Tubi, so it's 2013.
Oh, 2013.
And it's an hour and a half long. I don't think any holiday movie that was made for TV is under an hour and a half long.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Everything
Yeah.
we've watched so far that's like pretty
Like
much
no one's
exactly-
making like a Peter Jackson Christmas movie that's like 2.5 hours long or something. Like
I think it's just the plots are fairly simple. You know what you're getting into. There's probably only so much you can say in these movies.
Yeah.
Like,
they're not trying to like
got an
make
hour and
you
a half
like
to-
dumbfounded at the end of it.
right.
Okay, so this movie takes place it starts out in Washington, D.C.
Oh, they make sure that you know it's
Yeah.
Washington D.C. because they definitely bought like every stock clip of the White House and
Yeah.
whatever that really pointy building is.
The really pointy
Washington
building.
Monument?
Yeah, I almost called it the Pentagon, but
Oh, God.
Yeah, so you see lots of images from D.C. and you're like, oh, okay, this is where we're at. And you first see a couple on the couch, Maya and Dave, and it's their it's the anniversary of their first date.
Yes.
And, Dave proposes to her, and then his voice all of a sudden changes into a female voice, and then you realize that Maya was dreaming the whole time. This was just a fantasy in her head, because this is what she would like from Dave. I said Dave. His name is Davis. I'm sorry.
I
His
didn't
name
even
is
know that was
Davis.
his
I
name.
didn't either.
I kept writing Dave in my notes, but his name was really Davis. So then you see Patrick.
Yes.
He is...
Oh no, yeah. He's sitting there wearing sunglasses, and she's like talking to him, and you don't know who he is yet, but when she like takes off his sunglasses, it looks like he's wearing like male lip gloss.
He was definitely wearing a
Lip
lot of
gloss
makeup.
is anybody can wear lip gloss.
That's true. That's true.
Just pointing that out. Nowadays. Yeah. So, he looks very like a pretty boy, right?
Yeah, well,
He's a
what
pretty
does he
boy.
look like?
Yes, we decided he looks like a hybrid between Rob Lowe and Jason Bateman. He talks kind of like Rob Lowe, right? His hair is kind of more like Jason
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
Jason Bateman's hair,
And
Rob
nose.
Lowe's, like facial structure and like skin complexion.
Yeah.
like it's freaky.
It's eerie, right?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
really...
I mean, I guess if you can't get Rob Lowe in one of your films, you hire this guy, Patrick
No.
Muldoon.
That's his name.
That's his real name.
Okay.
I'm guessing
Yes.
that's Patrick
I think
Patrick
so.
Muldoon.
Muldoon.
So, I forgot the conversation exactly that they had, but Maya and Patrick kind of like have a little thing back and forth, like a right? Like kind
Yeah.
of like a
They're like bickering.
schoolyard type
Yeah.
of conversation. So then Maya and Davis, the guy that she thinks is her boyfriend, apparently, meet for lunch, and they're discussing, they're going on a trip to Nassau. It's a really awkward convo when you're listening, and I wasn't quite sure, like, are they a couple? Are they not? Are they a couple but they're fighting? Are they just friends with benefits? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Because he's kind of being wishy-washy. He's like, this is just a trip. It doesn't, like, mean anything. It's just, like, we're gonna have fun. No commitments. You know, you and me, we're like oil and water.
Yeah, he keeps, like, describing, like, without saying it. And honestly, the whole movie has these moments where you're like, what's going on? What is the actual reason that, like, because, like, everything had this underlying tone of, like, a wink.
Right.
But there was never a payoff to that wink. So the whole time you're like, I think all three of us were like, what is this guy trying to say?
It was like they learned in acting school, like, how to enunciate when they were, like, talking, or, like, but they're just overdoing it the whole time. It's like everyone's
like
talking
overacted.
in an overacting way.
Yeah. So he kind of, like, is, like, weirdly making their relationship not seem as important as it is. And, like, I guess she brings up something about, like, getting engaged or something, and he's like, oh, I mean,
oh, no.
not. I mean, let's just go and just, like, have fun.
Yeah.
And so she splashes her martini, which is clearly water. It's, like, filled up to the brim. Like,
she's like, oh, you ordered me a double. It's like, no, honey, it's water from the
that was no bartender.
It was Aquafina.
Yeah, no bartender made that martini. It was, like, to the top.
Yeah. They get in trouble for that.
And then she storms off. So then she goes back to work, right? She goes back to work, and basically what we find out is that she works at this pet.
It's just called Pet Products Inc. And it's a fake sign on a skyscraper.
Fake company for the fake sign. And apparently the main mascot of it is everyone's favorite Jack Russell Terrier, Scoots.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm writing the screenplay for this movie right now. Like, I can totally see him when he's like, Scoots, I'll name it Scoots. Scoots. So this Scoots is basically like, it's the holidays, and there's two CEOs of this company. One of them is the father of Patrick, the Rob Lowe guy. And the father of Patrick, the boss, and the other guy basically call in everyone for, like, this board meeting, and they're like, listen, as you know, the holidays are the most intense time of the years, and it's a great time to bring in prospective customers. The other guy is like, your son's a fuck up. Basically, like, he didn't say that in the movie, but, like, that's what he's basically saying. He's like, your son's a piece of shit. Like, he's a fuck up. I can't believe you're gonna let him, like, be the future of the company. And his father is just like, he's a good kid. Like, I know he's good. And then the other guy is just like, well, I'll make a bet with you. You have him do this job, and if he succeeds, you win. If not, I don't know what the actually repercussions were.
Yeah. I don't recall.
So then,
they, like, shake hands on it, but
So what was the assignment?
The assignment was basically to introduce Scoots to, on a road trip. They go on a road trip, and they introduce Scoots to all of the states that they go through. They build up excitement, and they end at this festival, or this
the Christmas
parade.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a PR stunt to get Scoots, like, well, first of all, everyone fucking knows who Scoots is. Like, as we find out, like, every single person is like,
he's like
America's favorite dog.
Yeah, like, they don't need to do this. Like, everyone loves Scoots so much. It makes it sound like the company's about to go into the tubes.
Maybe this was their effort of preventing that from happening.
Yeah,
but maybe that wasn't established, though.
Like it was needed.
Well, you can still know, like, a mascot really well. It doesn't mean the company is, like, currently doing well necessarily.
Amen.
So
Amen.
that's probably what was going on.
So
True.
the task is given to Patrick. Originally, he's gonna go with somebody else, but then once she finds out that it's Patrick on the trip, she's like, "Oh, my mom is she's coming in for the holidays, and her plane's on the way. I can't make it." So she just makes excuses.
She uses this work trip to go to visit her parents in LA.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh, like her boss was like, oh, how come like you don't want to just go by yourself? And she's like, well, you don't pay me enough. And he's like, fair enough.
Yeah.
He didn't even like say, oh,
He
I'm
like
sorry.
laughed. Yeah.
So basically the whole movie,
That
she
was
never gets a
awkward,
raise or
yeah.
anything. It's just, he just acknowledges that.
He was like, oh yeah, I know. So Maya and Patrick get an RV. And they're going to travel from Washington, D.C. to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
First state along the way that we
West-
recall was West Virginia,
Yeah.
right? Meanwhile, like, after that's established, you see, like, okay, they're going to go off in this RV. There's this other scene where Davis, her weird non-boyfriend, whatever the situation is, situationship person is, he's at the bar. He was offered a junior partnership with this other company. And they're basically encouraging him to marry her. But it wasn't really for the right reasons. It's kind of like, oh, like, being married kind of makes you look good and more professional.
Right, because we're like a family value. Like, he's like, and wink, wink, we stick to those core values. If you're going to be the junior partner, like, you're going to marry her, right? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, oh, it's too bad. So then he's like, oh, shit, I have to go marry her
It's
now.
so shallow.
Yeah, that's his motive. It's not, he's never like, oh, I'm missing her. It's like, oh, I should marry her so I look good.
Right.
Then it cuts back, Patrick and Maya are driving in the RV. He's eating Vienna sausages.
Respect.
They start playing like a license plate game. I mean, it's kind of tense, like some sexual tension. It's not really, I don't know the right.
I think there's
How would you
really-
describe their
I think there's
dynamic?
Flirty, but it's like
But not.
schoolyard flirty where they're like picking on each other. Like, she's like annoyed with him, but like
Right.
there's some tension still. Also, she also makes him sign a contract before
Yeah.
they even get on the road, where she's like, no loud music, no speeding, no this, no burping, and like no this and that. And she's like, you need to sign this before we go on the trip.
It literally spells it out. He's like, you're so uptight. And
Yeah.
she's like, and you're so wild. And you,
Right.
in that moment, you
Yeah.
can totally be like, oh, I
Like,
get what's going to
this is
happen.
what's happening.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to like influence each other.
So then they stop at a place called Curly's
BBQ.
Rib or BBQ. And this, when they're there, they start kind of confronting each other on each other's bullshit. There's also a waitress that looks just like her, which ends up kind of coming back
Yeah.
later on in a
And there's a
small
guy
way.
named Earl who is like kind of like he's like the bouncer, the
He's the host and
the host,
waiter.
the host, and he's wearing this like plank that has like chain around it, and then he like puts it around his neck, and it says like hi, like scrawled in like really
Like Sharpie.
like Sharpie, and it's like, hi, my name's Earl, like how can I help you? And they don't believe, like basically every state they go into, they're like judged really harshly. Like I feel like every time they're like, oh, do you like a latte, or like, do you have any green tea? Everyone's like, what the fuck is that?
What's
What are you
that?
talking about? We don't have lattes in these here parts.
Green tea. It's like, I get what they're doing. I mean, 2013
Yeah.
wasn't that long ago. Like, green tea is not that wild.
Yeah,
Like,
I went on a road trip in 2013 down in all of that like
They got
southern
green tea?
area. They have green tea. Like, they definitely know what that is.
she goes like,
But they do judge you hard, I will say.
Yeah.
Like, if you're any bit of alternative looking and you're from New York, like, when you go down south, they definitely give you looks, for sure.
well, what was the drink she was looking for in? Oh, she's like, I'll just have what kind of
Wine.
red wine do you have?
Oh,
And
yeah.
she's like, we got bourbon. And she's like, I'll just take your house cab. She's like, we got bourbon. I can put bourbon in a glass for you.
Yeah. She's like, never mind.
She's like, our sauce is made with bourbon too.
Yeah, then they like order a rib bone for the dog, and she's like, want the side of bourbon sauce? And she's like, no, I'm good.
And then they were eating pig ears or something?
Yeah.
Oh, they got like a stack of pig ear appetizer, and the dog's just like, I don't think those are very good for dogs, actually, but...
Probably not.
In
And,
real
well,
life.
the dog, basically, this is the first time we see how important Scoots is to this world. They were like, the guy, at first, the host was like, what the heck are you doing here? And then they're like, we got Scoots. And he's like, is that Scoots?
Oh, right.
I use his mango shampoo on my beard.
Oh, yeah, because they said there was no dogs allowed. And
Yeah.
then when they saw us Scoots, everything
They made an
changed.
exception.
Yeah.
So
That
let's
was the
just...
first social media post there for Scoots' trip. Was that?
Oh, right. They
That's
post on
true.
social
Yeah,
media
they
along
made
the
a
way.
group picture. So
Yes, and during those group pictures, one, I guess in 2013, Instagram did look like that. It's like old Instagram with like the black bar at the bottom and like the blue button in the middle, and it's like in the background they like downloaded some like screensaver of like scrolling text, like
It's like
what you see when like you go into the Matrix.
it's like screenshots floating across the screen from different social media platforms with like
Yeah.
this weird background, basically.
Yeah.
And this is the only time in the movie you actually see them take the pictures for social media. It's reoccurring that these screenshots will just come floating up, but this is the only time you actually see them physically take the picture themselves.
Can we also just talk about why a bunch of humans, because this isn't the only time that we find out that humans love this product that the dog...
Right,
the
they
dog
use like the dog
shampoo?
shampoos
Yeah.
and soaps and stuff.
Yeah, like what is this?
Yeah, it's like
It
Like,
must
we
be
just
like
get to
all
like
know?
this is mane
natural
and
shit.
tail or something.
They don't even explain that. You just have to take it for what it
They're
is.
just like, okay.
Yeah, just like people use dog shampoo
Just like in
all
real
over
life.
the country,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess.
So while they're at the rib place, Maya receives a call from Davis, kind of wanting to know where she is. She sends him a picture of the RV, like a very extreme close-up of the picture.
Yeah.
I mean, of the RV. I'm sorry, I drank wine. I feel like I'm like out of it. I noticed I'm not as giggly.
Don't let the elves know. We can't have
I'm
wine
like all
in here.
mellowed out. So she takes a picture of the RV and she's like, and she's like she's rude to him and everything because she doesn't want him in her life anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
an
asshole.
asshole.
they're pretty much done.
Yeah.
She's done with him.
And even on her voicemail, she's like, and if this is
Yeah.
Davis calling, she has this whole speech
Then you're
like,
dead to me.
yeah,
or
you're dead to
something.
me. I don't want to talk to you.
During this call, Patrick comes out and he's like, "Come on, it's like we got pig ears. Like, come on." And like you can really tell like she's having fun.
Oh,
Secretly.
Right.
because
Like
she's still
she-
kind of
She's still
uptight.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she ends up getting sick after this. She comes down with a cold. This is pre-COVID world, so there wasn't panic about this cold
Yeah,
that she
she's
has.
just, like,
But she
coughing.
starts to get sick. So I believe they stop at a bed and breakfast so that she can rest. And they're also, while she's getting sick, the heat in the RV stops working. And he's like, oh, I need somebody to look at this. And they need a replacement part. So while she's resting at the bed and breakfast, he finds this guy named Rocky who supposedly could give him parts and can fix the RV. So Rocky makes a deal with Patrick. In exchange for this replacement part, Patrick has to dress up as Santa and go to the nursing home and perform for
The whole scene.
Well,
old
he
ladies.
just thinks he's going there to
just be Santa.
Just be Santa, because he's like,
Yeah.
oh, just a half hour. Like, the Rocky's mom's there. He's like, it'll cheer them up. They really look forward to it. Then he goes back to the Airbnb bed and breakfast, and the woman who's like at the counter, he's just like, let her know if she comes downstairs that I'm gonna be at the old folks home, blah blah blah, like dressed up as Santa.
Yeah, the guy Rocky was also like talking in winks the whole time. He's like,
that was weird.
I know exactly what it is. It turns out I think you have a piece of rock salt stuck in your carburetor. I know just the thing. And then like Patrick is like, well, how much do I owe you? And Rocky's like, I'm not gonna charge you for it. I'm gonna give it to you for free if you do me one task.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like a like an
Side quest.
NPC in Skyrim or something. Like,
Yeah, it's like
I
a
need you
fetch
to
quest.
run down to this town and get this, and then bring it right back to me. If you do it, I'll give you this piece of
No,
armor.
literally.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
But you know what?
So he goes to the old
Did
folks'
it.
home.
He takes
Bunch
the
of horny ladies.
It's like a grocery bag with Santa's outfit in it. He like carries out.
And he walks out. He walks out in the suit. He just like puts the wig on. He doesn't even like position it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like he asks these two like teenage boys, and he's like, "Where's the old folks' home?" And they're like, "Over there." So he goes there.
Everyone knows, by the way. Like the little boys are laughing.
Yeah, there's only
They're
10
like giggling.
There's only 10 people in the town.
Right, right.
Because everyone
They all
knows
know.
about this reoccurring thing. When he gets the old folks' home, though, one of the best scenes is like the woman working behind the counter. She sees him as Santa Claus, and she like takes his hand, and she's like, "I've been a really naughty girl," and she's like shaking his hands. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
And she's just like, there's really old people in there, so just watch it. Like, just, you know, whatever they do, don't worry about it, basically.
Yeah.
So he goes in there, and he's Santa, and it's like all these older people, but they're definitely not so old that you would think they would be in a nursing home. They're probably like our parents' age. Maybe there was a couple older, but he goes in there, and it's clear all of a sudden that this is not just like a come chill with the old people.
Right.
Like, they're expecting a show from him.
Yeah, because he goes in, he does the old classic like ho ho ho, and then I think one woman literally screams, "Take it off!"
Yeah, she does. Yeah,
And he does.
Yeah, he does.
A wild
And,
scene.
While he's performing and doing his thing, and he gets into it.
Yeah, he likes
He
it.
liked it.
Yeah.
The girl Maya, she woke up and asked the person at the front desk, like, "Oh, have you seen whoever?" And she lets her know that he's at the nursing home. So she kind of peeks in, and this is kind of a turning point for her.
Yeah,
One of
it's really.
like once she sees how fun he's having and like how entertaining he is with the women in the nursing home, and she's just like smiling. She's like checking him out. She's like, ooh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of a sudden she has this bit of a spark. Now that she's seen him do that, she's sparked.
Yeah, she like walks in conveniently as he's like getting his shirt ripped off by one of the women too. So she's like,
Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. So then, from doing this, he did earn $20, and he got the spare part.
Yep. That's just in a box, the spare part.
Yeah.
And he has to put it in. So this repairman didn't do it for them. He just
gave
him the thing. But this also is kind of integral to Patrick's evolution as a character. Because Patrick is set up to be like the daddy's little boy who got everything handed to him, never had to do anything.
Right.
And so now you see him driving the RV, fixing a car, doing like community service.
Right.
Like, I see what they're doing.
He's like evolving.
He's growing up.
Yeah, because no one really believes him. Like, he's literally, the first time we meet him, he's asleep with sunglasses on at his chair.
Right. No, I thought he was on drugs.
Oh yeah,
He probably was.
acted like he was.
Yeah, he really was.
Yeah.
So meanwhile, it cuts back to I wrote Patrick, but it's really Davis. Davis, the non-boyfriend-ish, decides to drive to Curly's barbecue because he Googled like where the restaurant was and everything, and he orders a latte. Anyway, he gets kicked out of the barbecue because he confused the waitress that looked like Maya.
Oh,
And he like comes up and is
That
like
was
trying to
weird.
hug her and stuff. And it was like, oh my god. So then he gets kicked out.
Earl
Beat
kicks
up.
his ass.
Yep.
Yeah.
They throw him
Yep.
out of the bar, like classic, like,
Yep.
and stay out. thing.
Yeah, and they give him the latte still though.
Yeah.
They just rest it. They just rest it next to his body.
Here's your latte.
Yeah, because he also thought when he walked in that they were a bunch of hicks and they wouldn't know what a latte was. And like as he was walking around, he was like, "Do you want cinnamon on that?"
You know I do.
Motherfucker.
You know I want something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then-
and he's got like a bloody nose. This is like a violent scene. Like
He deserved it.
he hits the
Little
pavement,
bitch.
and like I was really shocked they gave him bloody. You really don't ever see blood in
Fuck
Hallmark
around at the
movies.
barbecue.
Yeah, you don't
You
mess.
don't come in there and touch them waitresses
No,
inappropriately.
you don't. He did deserve that.
He deserved. Well,
I mean,
he
he's a
also didn't know
fucking
though. He thought it
chode.
was his non-girlfriend,
Right.
whatever the fuck she is.
If you can't recognize your own girlfriend,
Yeah.
you're
True.
a fucking
You're,
chode.
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, it just proves that
Oh.
he's not a great guy.
So the next scene you see, I don't know what state they're in now, but Patrick and Maya are in another state now.
Ohio, I think.
Was it Ohio?
Maybe it was Ohio. No, they were going
Does it
south.
really matter?
Either way, they're in
Whatever.
another
in the middle of
state.
the country. Yeah.
They
And-
could have been in fucking New York if it didn't matter.
Oh wait, they're driving to another state. They're in the RV, and he like opens up to her, and he becomes like vulnerable finally. And he's like, "Yeah, I had a relationship, and we broke up on Christmas Eve."
course.
And he basically described the person that he had this old relationship had like all of the qualities that Maya has.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, she was this, and she was organized, and she was everything I wasn't. You know,
And he's telling this all while not looking at the road.
right? He never looks at the
I know.
road.
It's scary.
And there's this dog, by the way. Do we mention that Scoots is on this trip the whole time? They don't ever. I didn't see one dog bowl of like water.
Nope.
I don't see any
He's in
chow.
a
Never seen
tiny-
him walking in
He's in
mine.
a
They always
crate.
hold him. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a leash.
No, he's in a crate the entire time, a tiny like carrier, or he's in their arms, and he's shaking all the time. This poor dog is always shaking.
They probably put him through a lot.
They probably sedated him
Probably.
for this. Yeah.
So now that she's seen
Except for the
him
barking
half
scenes.
naked and he's become vulnerable, those are the seeds that make the panties drop.
Yes.
So she is really intrigued by him now.
Yeah.
And they start flirting, and you know, he's kind of teasing her like, "Oh, you drive so slow. You're driving,
Yeah.
you know, 67 and a 65, you know, whatever." And she's like, "Oh yeah," and then she starts driving really fast.
She guns
Like,
it to I think
extremely fast.
100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, you know, where you're like, haha, like making a joke, and you like are on a straightaway, and you just for a hot
Yeah.
second see if you can like hit 100, and then you stop right away. Like she just
kept
took
going.
this to the next level.
Yeah.
She was having way too much fun, and we
Yep.
called it before it even happened.
Absolutely. We're like, "Oh, this is when the tables are gonna turn, and she's gonna be wild and crazy, and he's gonna be the straight-laced,
Yep.
responsible one."
And sure enough, she gets pulled over, which
Yep.
we also called.
And it's funny because she's like, "Don't worry about this. I got this. I know how to keep the cops at bay."
She's
I'm
like,
a
"I'm
girl."
woman.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yeah.
she thought she could like be sweet to the cop.
But it turns out it's a female cop that comes up,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
she's like, "License and registration," and she's like, you know, she hands it to her, and basically, long story short, she has like such a squeaky clean record, like no speeding tickets, nothing, and the cop doesn't believe her. She's like, "I'm gonna go run these plates really quick," and then the next scene, they're in jail.
Well, it's like,
Yeah.
which
How
is
a
like
cop doesn't
unrealistic.
believe you.
I don't know what state they were in. I don't know if there's some state out there, like Oklahoma or something, where it's literally if you're going a certain speed, you go to jail. But I think in most cases, you just get a ticket. So that
Yeah.
was kind of
Kind of
extreme
confusing.
and confusing. Also, the fact that she put them in jail to do a background check on her because she didn't believe that her record
cop
was
should be
that
fired.
clean.
Yeah, she thought it was a
Like,
fake ID.
come on, there's people out there who don't have fucking speeding tickets.
Yeah.
Like she's the first person to ever come along with a clean driving record.
Like, this can't
that was-
possibly be.
Weird.
This is a lie.
But I
Yeah.
like that when they get in jail, she's like, basically not listening to them. But the only thing she says is like, "You'll be here just in time for the Christmas
Grits and gravy.
yeah, the Christmas grits and gravy."
So yeah, so it's
They-
all three of them in the same cell.
And the dog,
Scoot
too.
and her and
But then
Patrick.
they hand the dog over.
Right.
Remember, through the
Yeah,
bars.
she's like, "Go free."
Yeah, they just let the dog roam around the police station, I guess.
And then basically they break out of the jail. The dog gets the keys, and it's like
It's like straight
the
up from
exact
Scooby Doo.
same scene. Wasn't that also in It's in a Jim Carrey movie where he's like, the keys. No, not the cheese. The keys. I can't remember if it's
like
the
Ace
mask.
Ventura, to be honest, because he's talking to
But
animals.
didn't he have a little dog that looked like this dog in the mask? Remember because the mask.
I think
at
you're
one
right.
point, the dog
There was
puts
a
the
Jack
mask
Russell, I
on. Yeah,
think.
so I think it was the mask. But it was like the same exact scene from the mask in this, where it's like, all right, they didn't say the cheese part, but it's the same dog, same concept, grabs the keys.
Very
common.
classic
Yeah.
trope, like, and it's just so funny because like Skip. It's also my dog Skip. That's what he reminded me of. Scoots has never been trained for this, as we know of. Yeah. She literally looks at the dog and is like, "Get the keys," and the dog instantly knows where the keys are, gets the keys, brings them to her, and breaks them out.
And they're like old-fashioned skeleton keys, like
yeah,
like literally
right.
old 3 skeleton keys on a key ring that the dog grabs with his fucking mouth.
Yeah,
like,
and also, so then they break out of jail. Number one, how the fuck did they get past everyone in there without them being seen? Like, was there some kind of secret exit?
And getting the keys back? Because I'm sure the keys were confiscated.
Did we not forget...
The car keys, I mean.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, how did they
Did
get
we
that
not
back?
forget that the same cop who didn't believe that she was telling the truth was also running that jail? Of course they left. That cop doesn't know anything. She didn't believe that she had a speeding ticket.
But then also, remember later when the dad calls, he's like, "Oh, they were gonna give you the keys to the city
For being a good citizen."
For being a good
no.
citizen.
They were like, they were gonna give you the key to like let yourself out for being a good citizen, but instead they just literally broke the law.
They meant the key. They did say the keys to the city. Like,
yeah.
For what?
Like, I think that's
like a symbolic
it's an expression.
thing.
Yeah, it's not like literally, but
because it's Scoot.
I think it's probably because it's Scoot.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that dog, that silly. Also, mind you, there are these photos of them breaking out of jail that are posted on their social media.
Yeah.
It's like, how would these photos?
Yeah.
How were these taken?
These? It was just like floating, like, oh, Scoop.
I think it's security camera footage.
But like, how did they get them for their social media? How did they get those pictures for Scoot's social media account to part of this tour? So then that became a big deal. Well, first Maya's just like, haha, like, we're across state lines now they can't get us, and like...
He's like, you wild, crazy bitch.
You know more than I thought.
She's crazy, I'm not gonna lie.
She's a crazy bitch.
Yeah, she really took a turn.
Yeah. I don't trust anyone who can, like, bust out of jail.
Well,
she also lied. We forgot. Remember when they pulled her over? She's like, "Oh, we're going to Las Vegas to get married."
Oh yeah.
Like, why did you lie about that?
Yeah,
she could have just been like, "We're
going to LA and we're going to,
Yeah, she should have said Scoots' name, and maybe that could have got her out of the ticket of jail. But she was just like a fool.
I think she just wanted an excuse to like role play with the guy.
With him, yeah. Probably.
She was all like revved up from seeing him at the nursing home.
Yeah.
So they go to a restaurant again.
Yes.
And they're actually having a pretty good time. Like, they're both drinking beer.
Oh yeah.
First of all, this restaurant, when they pull up to it, looks like a abandoned building. It's
called like Shakey's
washed.
Something.
Yeah.
There's like, you know when like a business goes out of business and like when a place goes out of business and they like put that squeegee stuff over the windows to like cloud the windows. That's what the windows looked like. It did not look like an open restaurant.
Yeah, the windows were dirty
disgusting.
and dark.
It looked like a factory.
Yeah. Maybe it was Shaky Pat's or something like that. I don't know. But there was like a weird thing. Remember she was like, "Have you ever someone ever been special to you?"
She like starts getting all romantic with him at the restaurant, and she's like, "Have you ever had like a special someone?" Which I was like, why the hell is she asking him that? He literally had a heart-to-heart with her earlier in the RV, telling her all about his ex-girlfriend and how special she was. So she clearly was like fucking dozing off, or I don't know, not listening.
Long days on the road, she lost her focus or something.
I don't know.
But then they're like dancing, right? Aren't they dancing? They're like about to kiss.
Oh, well, a guy comes up to their table, asks her to dance, and she's like, not for you, partner.
Mm-hmm.
Then she goes to the bar to get a drink. Someone else comes up to her, asks her to dance, and started to get kind of agitated and really pushing her. And then, Patrick comes up, puts his arm around her, and he's like, not today, pal.
Yeah.
And, he's like, oh, fine, and gets all annoyed and walks away. Then they start dancing,
right.
Patrick and Maya.
Yes.
And then, after they're done dancing, they walk outside, and they can't find the RV. It's gone. And they decide
to hitchhike.
Because they're like, oh, it's stolen. It
I've
must
got
have been
an
that
idea.
guy.
But right before they realize, or sometime before they realize that the RV is stolen, I believe he has the phone call Patrick has the phone call with the dad.
Oh, right.
Who's like, they want Scoots. I keep wanting to call him Scout. I don't know why I want to call him Scout.
Well, also,
so
like,
badly.
why is it Scoots? Like,
Scoots.
plural. Like,
I want to call him Scoots Magoots. That's just his name from me. They want Scoots to be in LA on the Wink Martindale show at 3 p.m. So now they have
It's like
a time crunch,
right.
and now they don't have their RV. It's stolen.
So
right.
when they find that the RV is stolen, again, Patrick's got Scoots under the arm. Scoots is like looking like he's like.
That dog needs water.
Yeah, that dog needs
He
water.
looks
He needs a bath.
PETA needs to be alerted about the treatment of this dog.
Patrick is literally like, "Oh, look over there," and he points out this like truck, and he's like, "I got an idea," and he runs off screen, and then Maya runs after him, but she doesn't
really awkwardly.
run. She like she walk runs, and
That was funny.
then they just cut to the next scene. They're
in the truck.
You don't even see them negotiate, being like, "Can we please ride with you? We're on our way, and we have Scoots here."
I think it actually jumps right to them being at her parents' house
they
already.
literally roll
You
up.
just see it on the map, like the red line.
Yeah, you see them on this like cheap U.S. map, like with a red line.
Not to mention they drive overnight.
Yep,
middle of the cold.
From New Mexico.
In the back of a fucking truck with that dog. And when they pulled up in the morning to Maya's parents' house, I hadn't seen a dog bowl.
You're still so concerned about the dog bowl. There were no dog bowls.
He drove through the desert with no water, that dog.
I hope they stopped along the way and that we just didn't see those
Hopefully
parts.
off camera there was some better treatment of Scoots.
Yes.
But on camera, it's a totally different
Poor
story.
baby. He didn't even have a leash. He was just like held the whole time. I mean, let the dog roam.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, I think, I mean, we're nearing the end of the movie here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A
lot happens.
Patrick finds out that Davis wants to pop the question. Somehow the dad finds out and lets him know. And I feel like the dad kind of like purposefully was telling him this so that Patrick could like.
Yeah, it's because the girl back at the office calls them to check in.
Oh,
see
right.
how things are going, and the dad is sitting listening. And, Maya's friend at the office knows what's going on, I guess, with Davis and how he's going to pop the question. Tells the dad calls Patrick, cues him into all of this.
And also, don't forget, we also see, before they roll up here, we see Davis finds the RV. And first of all, the RV, after this scene, they never really talk about it ever again.
Like, where'd the
RV
go?
Just stolen.
It's
And she's like, oh, well, it's gone.
But he rolls up to the RV, and he's like, he comes in, he opens the door, and he's like, Maya? And this girl is like putting her top on, and she turns around and screams and grabs a shotgun, chases him out of, we're still talking about this family-friendly movie here, chases him out of the RV, shoots it, blows the window out of the red Dodge Durango behind him, and he like pops his head up and he's like, that's not even my car. And then he turns around, and then the guy from the bar who hit on Maya is like, it was mine, and he pops Davis in the face. So
So
he's had a hard time, Davis. His face is pretty fucked up
pretty
at this
jacked
point.
up.
So they arrive at Maya's parents' house. The mom is just, I don't know, another overactor.
Shelley Long was the mom.
She's just really excited to see Maya. And she shows up with Patrick and Scoots at the door. And she's like all sad because Patrick's going to go with the dog to the talk show. And then Maya's going to stay back with her parents and hang out. And Patrick's like about to say something to her. He wants to confess his love for her. And basically the mom pops back out and is like, lunch is on the table, dear. Like, come inside. And she's like, oh, shoot, I have to go. And he's like, it's not that important. And he, like, walks away to leave.
He
back
goes to the
back in the
TV
truck.
Yeah, he gets back in the
They're
TV.
waiting for him in the truck.
Those are really nice people.
Really nice
They
strangers.
He is rich, though.
Yeah, he probably paid
them very well.
Yeah, he must have. So he goes to the TV show. Maya's inside.
Watching him.
So she's laying on the couch all mopey because she misses him already. And he's on the talk show with the dog. He does a great job on the interview. She sees how put together he is, and he's really, like, doing a good job. And then what happens? The mom comes in and says some stuff to her. It's like, oh, no. The mom thinks she's still torn up about Davis and her breaking up this whole time. The mom has no idea there's something going on with her and Patrick right now.
Yes.
But she's all sad about him, not her ex thing.
Yeah, what's the... Davis shows up at the front door
of the parents' house.
Right.
And comes in.
He's the first one to show up,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
With the parents, yeah.
And he's like busted up. Like, he's got black eyes, a Band-Aid over his nose, and...
He has roses.
He's got roses, and he walks in, and... She
doesn't want to let him in at first, and then he's like, I came all the way here, please let me in. She's like, fine.
So this is the first time I think he's ever been to her parents' house, because he walks in, and there's, like, tinsel thrown on, like, everything. And she's like, I didn't want you to see this. And he's like, ugh. Like, he's turned off by it. Yeah. He doesn't like it.
He's like, people live like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh.
And then...
rude about it.
Yeah.
And then, I think the dad... Well, also, by the way, before that, the CEO, Patrick's father, and the other guy are sitting in a car together, like, outside the house or something. Remember? And, like, he calls up Patrick, and he's like, you know what to do, basically. And then Patrick leaves and runs to a jeweler.
Patrick warns him then, I
think they were outside the studio. Because weren't they filing the dog's nails?
Yes.
When he gets that phone call?
Yes.
He's about to go on. Like, the dog's getting, like, it's...
Yeah, and he's like, can you watch this dog with my
manicure,
life?
mani-pedi.
He's like, can you watch this dog with my life? And he runs to a jeweler. And then you see the... Who comes first? Is it Patrick first?
Davis comes first.
And then he gives her this whole spiel real quick about how now they're like chocolate and peanut butter. Before they were like oil and water. And he's like, you're the CEO of my life. We should have little accountant babies and all this like weird shit. Yeah, he's like a real weirdo. But it's like obviously overdone to show you like he's clearly in it for the business side of things, not for the love. And he brings a ring, and he gets down on one knee, and as he's on one knee, and she's taking all this time, and
Patrick shows up.
No, doesn't the dad come in, or is it Patrick next?
I don't remember. I think it's Patrick, and then the parents, and then the father comes after.
Yeah, Patrick comes in, and he like rushes in, and he sees all the Christmas stuff, and he's like, "Whoa, this is really cool," and she's like, "It is."
It's sweet.
So, yeah.
That's cute.
Clearly you're meant to like him and not like Davis. And then, you know, they go back and forth. Davis is super condescending to him. He's like, oh, you're the dog walker I've heard, like, all about. And then he's like, thank you so much for getting the love of my life here. Here's $100. Go buy yourself something nice. But, like, obviously Patrick has money too. And he's like, I'm not playing this game with you, like, asshole. And then they, like, go to, like, duke it out, kind of, and then he's like, fine, you have 2 minutes with Maya. Like, do what you gotta do. And then he confesses his love to her and proposes. And she says yes to him. And he definitely had the better ring. It was a fat rock.
I agree.
And it was prettier.
It was nicer.
Yeah.
And then the parents come in. I don't know why we're saying parents. The father and the other CEO come in, and they basically are like, well, we've been betting on you the whole time, and you won $1. And the other guy gives the father $1. And then he was like, I was betting that you'd kiss her before 9 o'clock. Yeah. Which is creepy.
He's like, I'm going to make you proud,
and the
Daddy.
parents, her parents too. Maya's parents are watching silently in the doorway. It's just,
and the dad never. Her dad never.
Her dad
speaks.
looks like Santa Claus.
Her dad looks like Santa.
Santa.
He's just smiling the whole time. He has never met either of these men, and he's just smiling as his daughter is getting like tossed around basically by these 2 random guys.
And the father and the other CEO literally let themselves in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The door opens and they're like, hi. And they just walk right past.
Yeah, like,
and even
you're
the mom's
supposed to
like,
know.
what the hell?
Yeah. So it all just kind of comes to a head there in the kitchen, and they're all standing around. And then what? Davis? What happened to him? Did
I don't
he
even
leave?
remember what
He
happened.
just left. I don't remember.
He's
Yeah, I
just
think he stormed. He gets the $100 back. He takes it,
Oh, yeah.
and he just storms off,
Yeah.
basically,
Oh, right. You're
For
right.
a lonely drive back to DC.
with a black eye.
Yeah.
And then the movie just kind of ends.
It
It's
cuts
just-
to the
It just
parade.
ends.
Yeah, it cuts to the parade, which was the whole point of this road trip. And you literally see some fucking like flute players coming into the parade. And then it pans to some more of those floating social media like screen caps of Scoot at the parade.
And that was it.
And that was it. That was the end of the
The
movie. It was really rushed at the end. It was like they ran out of time.
Hey,
Like, all right, we got to end this now.
Yeah, they're like, okay, parade, cool.
bye.
You know what happens. Bye.
so holiday
yeah.
road trip. What do you give it out of 10?
I'm going to give, me personally, I'm going to give it a 6.
I was thinking 6 too.
Yeah, 6 or 7. I was
Yeah.
gonna say.
6.5.
Yeah,
I
6.5.
enjoyed it. It was a little corny, but it wasn't.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining. I thought it was funny. Definitely better than Santa Claus.
But was it better than Snowman's?
I don't know.
No.
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 I like
Snowman's?
Snowman's.
Snowman's was better.
I
All of
noticed
it.
Snowman's is like the thing we compare everything to.
Yeah,
Because it was
the
number
first
1. It was the
one.
first one, so everything's like, well, how does it stack up
Yeah.
to Snowman's?
Well, it's, I mean, so far after watching 3 movies, Snowman's is still
Yeah.
probably the most
Yeah.
rewarding film. Like,
I think
this
the
movie
acting
wasn't
was better
bad.
too.
Yeah. The
in
acting
Snowman.
was
No,
better.
this wasn't bad.
This was nicely paced and told
Yes.
an entertaining story that I would certainly like.
It was easy to follow. Like,
Yes.
I mean, except for like a couple scenes, like the one that she had with Davis in the beginning, and that discussion was weird, where he was like, "Oh, well, I don't know about a proposal. It's just me, you, and the beach, and this trip isn't really anything." And
Yeah.
she throws a martini in his face and leaves, and you're like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah.
But all in all, it was decently paced. I got everything that was going on. Predictable, of course.
Yeah.
But these movies are pretty much always predictable.
Yeah.
Except fucking
That's why
Snowman's. I
people-
did not predict that
Right.
Cole was a snowman and all this stuff. You gotta listen to the first episode
Yes.
if you didn't.
And watch
'Cause,
Snowman's
and
afterwards.
watch Snowman's.
What I enjoyed about this movie in comparison with the other two is this movie had the most like evolution with the characters. Like they really they went on a literal journey, a metaphorical journey. They like evolved.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some evolution in Snowman's, but I think you see more of it in this
Yeah.
movie because it really
It was
like,
only the one character in
journey.
Snowman's, the girl. She gets her expectations cut down a little bit.
well, this is
Yeah.
more
like,
silly. I feel like Snowman's is like. Well, no, Snowman's is silly as hell too. I
oh
don't know.
yeah, they're both really silly.
yeah.
Next movie, I want to watch one without a fucking animal in it.
Okay.
I
Okay.
feel like we need some human on human interaction.
Okay.
No broken horse for Christmas. That one looked good.
I'd like to watch it at some point. So
what animal was in Snow? Was there an animal in Snowman?
No, that's.
Oh, we're just saying of Santa Claus.
You're just saying you're
this
sick
one.
of, yeah.
You don't
It's
want to
such a-
see an animal.
it's such a
Christmas movie.
scapegoat. It's like whenever something's feeling a little weird, just like pan over to the Jack Russell Terrier,
Right.
have it bark 3 times. He's like, arr, arr, arr.
Did you? Did you feel any emotional connection or attachment to the dog at all?
Not
None.
I
really.
didn't.
Like, I was like, oh, he's cute at times, but like,
Yeah.
Wasn't
there
a
was
main
really not
Character.
a lot of development there.
Yeah,
I could have taken or leaving Scoots.
yeah.
Like,
I would have liked to have
and I
seen
hate his
more
name.
from the dog. Because some movies with animals, you really do develop a love.
Right. Like, my
For
dog
them.
Skip, I think
Marley
I
and
cried.
Me.
Marley and Me, cry. Homeward Bound, I was really upset when Shadow was stuck in the mud, like at the end.
The Sandlot.
Right.
Never seen Sandlot. I know.
Okay. You know. Oh, sorry.
I do actually see one of the elves tapping on the window right now,
Oh,
and
shoot.
they are kicking us out.
Oh
I guess our time
man.
is up.
He's saying wrap it up, and he's saying
All right,
He's
Jordan.
saying
we'll
wrap
be
it
out
up,
in a
wrap it
minute."
in. Let me begin.
stop.
Let us be.
I reserved this.
Fucking elves.
All right.
It's really stressful.
It is. It's hard.
Yeah. we're
Take
like-
the day
So
off
we go on
tomorrow.
strike.
We should.
Ooh. But then, how will we do this again? The next episode. We need this.
That's true.
We need to just play it cool till the season's over. And
Yeah.
then
All right, that
Um,
cooled me off.
give our
All right.
demands.
Take a chill pill,
Yeah.
Tiny Tim.
So I think any last words?
I.
I would say check it out. Check what's this movie called again?
Holiday Road
Check
Trip.
Holiday Road. Why not? You,
You
have
know what?
nothing to lose.
Yeah, you have nothing better to do.
Yeah, you have nothing better to
For
do.
fans of the movie Road Trip, check out Holiday Road Trip. It's
Yeah.
actually a sequel.
Or Euro Trip.
Yep, Euro Trip,
Oh,
Road
yeah.
Trip. This is the last film in the series.
Yeah. You will be delighted and surprised when you watch this film.
You know, we just told you everything that happened in it.
Yeah. But now you have to see for yourself.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to.
Because
Let
you're
us know what
so
you think.
curious. Yeah.
All
All right. Yeah.
La 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 la
Peace.